Okay guys, today I'm going to be talking about files and directory management in Linux. So I'll start by logging into my server. If you don't know how to log into your server yet, uh, this is not the conventional way to log into your server. I have done some configuration for me to be able to do what I'm doing right now. I'll log into my lab. Okay, you can see I'm inside my lab. If you do ls, you can run commands inside my lab. My lab is made up of Ubuntu, so you can run commands such as okay, you can run commands to show you like who am I. You can see the user. My user here is master. You can run commands such as uname -r, uh, uname-arrow, and then you can run command like lsb_release to know your operating system. Release -d. You can see I'm running. Okay, it goes with -d goes with the description. I'm running Ubuntu 24.04. That's Ubuntu version that I'm running. So by running that lsb_release, so what happens if I run just lsb_release? Okay, it doesn't give you that detailed information, so the best is to go with this option. Okay, so we're talking about files and directory management. If you're used to using, if you're somebody who is familiar, if you're familiar with your Windows system, you know how you navigate in the Windows system is by clicking on buttons and icons and or visible or let's say graphics on the screen, and you're able to perform tasks. But with the Linux command line system, you don't need to a GUI or a graphical user interface to interact with the system. As a matter of fact, what happens when you click those buttons and graphical user interface items, what happens is that the command that is under those buttons are actually being executed. So in this case, we are not just clicking button, but we are going to be writing the command. For example, how in a Windows system, what you call folders are called directories. In the Linux system, what you call folders are called directories in the Linux system, and files are also known as files in the Linux system. So in a Windows system, you will click on a folder to open it to see the content of the folder. But in a Linux system, you do the ls command. Ls command, it lists the content of that directory. When you list the content of the directory, we just use the ls. It lists the content of the directory in a basic way. When you want to get more details about those particular contents of the directory, you add a flag to it, -a. You can add the -a flag, which include hidden files. If you want to see hidden files in this directory, you can see that now. You can see more files. You can do as well ls to see permissions, ls-l to see permissions that those files have. So you can see permissions. Example, this file has read, this one has read write for owner, read write for group, and then read only for others. And the file is owned by master. The file is owned by master. So these are command. This is what you want to look at. This is a command you type when you want to look at the permissions that a file or a particular directory has. Now, if you want to know where you are located on your computer, you can type the command pwd, which simply means present working directory, where you want to know where you are. Maybe you've been navigating directories again, and a very common command on how to navigate. In your Windows system, you navigate by clicking the back and forth button, or you can click folders and so on to open. But here you can either use the CD button. You can CD to you can cd to a directory. Let's say I want to list our directory here. Let's say I want to cd into desktop or music. I want to cd into music, so I'll do cd or change directory. Cd stands for change directory, and I use music mu. So you can see I can change the music, and I'm sure there's nothing inside music. So I have navigated forward into by clicking to open the music. I can do cd -- to go back to my previous location. So if I do pwd, you can see where I am now. So cd change directory or cd -- simply takes you to your previous home where you were previously. So at this point, we talk about, at this point, we'll talk about okay, if you want to go to the home directory, the cd goes with cd and the tilt command. So if I now do present working directory, okay, so not pwd, so it's going to be cd. So it's going to be cd tilt. So it takes you to the home present working directory. It takes you to the home. I was already in the home, so it cannot take me to any place again. So but if I do the cd desktop and then I do present working directory, you can see that I'm on the desktop by looking at the output here. This is the output here. It tells you where I am. When I type pw, it tells you where I am. So if I want to know if I'm in the desktop or not. So if I do if I redo the cd tilt, you see that it will take me to home. So pwd or present working directory is in the home of master. What this means is that we are in the home of the user called master. So if we are in the home of root, we'll see something like /home/root /home/root. If we are in the home of James, we'll see something like home/James. We want to see, okay, so that's it. So we've basically touched a couple of commands here. So now let's look at creating files and directory. Now we've basically looked at commands introductory commands, how to navigate. We've seen the navigate. Most of these commands I've just shown you are navigation commands. Now let's look at how you can actually get to create files and directory. There may be several ways to create files, but we're going to start with, let's start with the directory. So if you want to create a directory, let's say you want to create a workstation or working directory. To create directory, you use the make, mk for make, dir for directory, make or create directory, and then you pass the directory name. In this case, let's call it new direct. Let's call it new dir or directory. Let's call it new directory. Now if we do ls, in this we should be able to see new directory. So this is our new directory. You can see the difference between directory and files. Files come with their file extension. Service.yaml is a file extension. So now that we've created our directory, we can cd into that directory by doing change directory cd. We change directory into the new directory, present working directory. Now you can see that we are inside the new directory. Once we are inside the new directory, we can now create files. We can create files, or we can create additional folders. We can create additional folders as well as files within this directory. How do you create files? You create files by using, there are many ways. I'm going to use a touch command. With a touch command, I can create multiple files at the same time. Touch command, I can say test dot, let's call it a Python files, for example, .py, test.py. We'll do test.py, right, or say test.a.py, test.a.py, test.b.py, test.c.py. So these are three tests that we have created, and these are three text files we have created, or files that we've created. They could be of any extension. It could be of txt, it could be of any file type. So we use present working directory. We do the ls. You can see those are the files that are already created in that directory that we just created right now. So I'm going to copy a bunch of text and take to test A, one of our tests. How do you copy text to a file? There are many ways to go about it. I can use the vi command, the vi test A.